Welcome to the Cryptosphere. This is Cryptogenic coming at you. Today is Monday, February 7th at 10:30 a.m. here in Northern California. We're going to definitely talk about this bullish movement that we're seeing in the cryptosphere. The question, the question is it sustainable, or are we going to get rejected? And if we do get rejected, where might we get rejected, and what are the indications and what are the signs? We're going to focus on the Bitcoin chart today, and specifically we're going to talk about the convergence and divergence between the price action and the volume. Volume is very important. We haven't talked enough about volume on this channel. We're going to be talking more and more about volume in the days to come, because the real story is actually found in the volume. And so what does the interaction between the candle patterns and the volume tell us about what's next in the crypto market? Before we get there, I want to say finally, first of all, that this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm neither telling you to buy or not buy. I'm neither telling you to sell or not sell. I'm neither telling you to hold nor not hold. I am simply telling you what I see and what I think. And from my understanding of these charts and from these crypto assets, that's what I'm telling you. Want to take a moment to plug my Patreon and give a shout out to the members of my Patreon. I want to thank each and every one of you for making it possible to do what I do. I also want to say that this might be the most lucrative and profitable decision that you've ever made, is to be a part of a community such as you will find in my Patreon. It's a small, tight-knit community, but there's a lot of great information going on here, a lot of charts being posted at the titanium level. I do a once-a-month Zoom meeting live to answer questions, to do TA and portfolio analysis to a certain degree. So that there's still plenty of room in this level. Also, the Cryptogenarian Gold, what we started doing was trading. We were doing position trading, and I have a position trading strategy that I was executing with the Cryptogenic Gold. We're going to get back to that, but we're also going to do a complete course on crypto trading, what platforms to trade on, what the trading methodology is. It's going to be more than just buy and sell signals, but it's going to be a full-on course on trading. And we're going to go through a course together, and we're going to learn together, and we're going to make some money together at this Cryptogenarian Gold level. So look out for that. But also the Cryptogenarian Silver, maybe you just want to get your feet wet, and at the Cryptogenarian Silver, you get the full cryptogenic portfolio with all 33 assets as well. And I've got take profit levels, 3 different take profit levels for each asset. I've also got accumulation levels for each asset, buy up 2 levels, basically. And that strategy, basically, this is my personal strategy for existing in this space without losing my peace. You know, my goal is to sleep in peace every night, wake in joy every morning, and walk in love every day. And what I find is that having my complete portfolio with profit take levels for every asset, as well as accumulation levels for every asset. So if I buy more of a particular asset, at what dollar point will I buy more? And if I take profit, at what point will I take profit? The Cryptogenic portfolio provides all of that information. And so at that level, you get that. You also get to see everything that I post in terms of, if I post charts, I post it to the whole group. If I make announcements, I make them to the whole group. And I have basic technical analysis tutorials that I make available to the whole group as well. And Cryptogenarian Silver gets to see that, but you also get to be a part of the Cryptogenic community. And there's wonderful people on here, and there's wonderful feedback, and there's wonderful interactions that you find there. I've actually got 2 more levels. The platinum level is not available anymore. It's completely full. But I created a new level called the Missional Mastermind. I'm actually going to do another video later on, probably later on this afternoon, to fill you in on that level, because it's the most exciting thing and the most promising program that I've ever created. But it's designed to transcend your crypto portfolio. It's about more than crypto. It's about you. It's about your mission. It's a holistic coaching process that builds your sense of personal mission and destiny, that develops, identifies, and hones your gifts, your sense of passion, and that helps you find your way to discover and do what you've been born to do. It also brings together and unifies your family, and it's inclusive of, there's a greater crypto value that I provide there than at any other level. So it's a very, very exciting program, limited space, but I'm going to do a video later to take ample time to talk about that and why, the whys behind it. But in the meantime, we're going to take a look at this Bitcoin chart. Now let's jump right in here. As you can see, this is a Bitcoin weekly chart. That means every one of these candles represents 7 days, a week. The current candle we're on, there's still 6 days and 6 hours left to complete this candle. Okay? The difference between the green candles and the red candles, the green candles are bearish candles, which means they started high and ended low. And the red candles are bearish candles. The green candles are bullish candles, which means they start low and end high. All right? So each of these candles, the green candle started at the bottom of the body and end at the top of the body. The red candles start at the top of the body and end at the bottom of the body. Now, this white line here is the 50-week moving average. The 50-week moving average means that if you take the previous 50 candles and add up their close, so the close of this candle here was 42,183. The close of this candle here was 37,844. The close of this candle here was 36,499, and so on. You do that for the last 50 candles, add them all up, divide by 50, you get the moving average. And right now, that average is right where this line is at $47,879. So over the last 50 weeks, this is a simple moving average. It's not an exponential moving average. Over the last 50 weeks, Bitcoin's average price has been about $48,000, right where it is right now. So what we're seeing is that we bounced off this line here, and now we're coming up to retest the 50-week moving average. And the question is, are we bullish? Like, is the market exploding right now? Are we getting ready to resume the bull run? Are we going to break above the 50 and come up to retest the top of this line, even break above this line and go on to break 100,000 as we have expected? First, let me say, I do expect that to happen. But second, let me say, not quite yet. And let me tell you what I'm seeing and why. We can draw a trend line here, and as we see, there's 3 points of intersection with this trend line. We intersect here, we intersect here, and we intersect here. Okay? So, as we see, this is a bullish trend. We're making higher highs, and we're making higher lows. Okay? So the lows are the bottom of the wick, the very bottom, and the highs are the top. So you see, this is the high of this whole movement here, and this is the high of this movement here. And this high here is higher than this high here, and this low here is higher than this low here. So we're making higher lows, we're making higher highs. That is bullish. However, another data point that we have to look at here is what's happening in the volume. Now, if I can zoom in on the weekly volume, here's what we see. You see, this week, we've got a nice bullish candle. It's small, but it's still bullish, which means that we ended higher than we began. Okay, let me get rid of that. All right. And then we had this nice green bar here. Green bar. Now, you can forget whether they're red or green. Volume is volume. We had this much volume. The only difference is the volume was bearish here. It was pressured down. So these volume bars, they represent how much activity has been going on in the market. So they represent activity, buying and selling pressure, okay? But notice this week, we pushed the price higher on less volume. So we saw decreasing volume, but increasing price. What that typically means is that the volume, the amount of activity, is the amount of support for the price movement. So if we were to see an increase in volume and an increase in price, that means that the increase in price is sustainable, okay? Now, this is a weekly chart. If we go to the daily chart, we can see this even more clearly. We had a nice bullish move here on this candle. And then we had a slightly bearish candle. But then the third day, we pushed the price higher on less volume. So now we got a little bit more volume here. But we're still seeing less volume than we saw on this initial move. And so if we scale back a little bit, what we're basically seeing is that there's kind of this decrease in volume with a corresponding increase in price. And what that typically means is that this is a bull trap, meaning, see, what we don't understand is that there are market makers behind the scene. The market is controlled by what we call market makers. And when I say they're market makers, it doesn't mean that they 100% control the market, but it means that they capitalize on the momentum that they see in the market, and they create markups and they create markdowns. And when they're creating a markup, which is what looks to me like they're doing, they're trying to create euphoria in the market so that they can kind of crash the price and bring it back down to one of these levels. And then they're going to basically, what they're trying to do is absorb all of the floating supply in the market, okay? So as long as there's floating supply in the market, they have to absorb that before they can create a truly bullish move. So what I think is happening is a bull trap. I think they're moving the price up. So the question is, how high are we going to go before we get rejected, if this is correct? All right? Now, if I go back to, so first of all, this is the 50-day moving average because this is a daily chart, okay? And you notice that we got this burst of volume to break us above the 50-day moving average, okay? So the first step was, are we going to get rejected at the 50-day moving average? The second step is, are we going to get rejected at the 50-week moving average? Now that we've changed this to a weekly chart, this white line is now the 50-week moving average. So if we go back to the daily chart, we can put a line here where the 50-day moving average is, and the 50-day moving average is at $42,870. Now when we go back to the weekly chart, we can put a line here where the 50-week moving average is at 47,000, and what we see now is that we're entering into this range between the 50-day moving average and the 50-week moving average. My thought, this is my theory, this is what I perceive to be happening in the market, is that we're going to test the 50-week moving average and get rejected there, and then come back down to retest at least this line here, which if this happens this week, or if it happens next week, this line over here will be somewhere around $33,728, somewhere around $34,000. So this is what I see is a retest of at least $34,000, okay? Now, let's take it a step further and let's open up the RSI and let's see what the RSI has to say. I have another chart here in which we can look at the RSI. So this is bullish. We've broken out of here, right? If I throw, once again, this is a weekly chart. If I throw the 50, which I have the wrong color here, let's synchronize this so it's the same as my other chart. And I'll make it a little thicker so we can see it. This is an EMA. This is an exponential moving average. So notice this. Oh, see, I didn't even think about that. We're coming up on the 50-week exponential moving average and testing it right now. This is the 50-week SMA, simple moving average. Okay, that's already good. So we could even draw another line between the 50-week EMA, which is 44,191, somewhere around there, which we are testing right now. You see that? So the 50-week exponent, let's just add it so that we can see it. EMA. moving average exponential. And then I'm going to change that right now. It's 9. I'm going to change it to 50. And then I'm going to make it white so that we know that we're looking at a 50. Okay. So you see we've got the 50-week SMA and the 50-week EMA. So we could get rejected right here at the 50-week EMA, or we could break above it and make our way up to the 50-week SMA. But at some point, I believe this move is going to get rejected, and we're going to come back down and retest these areas. Now, this is the RSI, strong RSI. We got a nice bounce here in the RSI, and it's moving upward. And matter of fact, there's going to be a few lines of resistance. So this was a line of resistance here. We broke over that. Here's another line of resistance in the RSI. I'm going to make this a solid line so that we can see it clearly. If we come up to test the 50-week SMA, yeah, see, this line of resistance we've already broken above. So the next line of resistance is going to be right here at 50.72. So that could correspond to a test of the 50-week SMA. Let's add it here. Okay, so that we can see this clearly. $50. Make it white and a little bit thicker so we can see it. All right. So as we can see, if we're going to get rejected here at the 50-week EMA, I would have expected us to get rejected in the RSI at this line. But we've got a breakthrough in the RSI above this level of resistance. The price hasn't broken through yet. So I expect the price could very well break through and come up and retest the SMA here. And that would correspond to a retest of this line here in the RSI. So that's what I'm seeing with Bitcoin. Why do I spend so much time talking about the Bitcoin chart? Because it almost doesn't matter what we see in any other chart. Look at this. So we're seeing in the XRP chart a breakthrough here. We've got to get above this line of resistance in the RSI in order to see a real breakthrough. And we got to get above this line in the price to see a real breakthrough and to resume our bullish move. But here, really, if we can get above this line, we can start making higher highs in the RSI, and that would be truly bullish. But we could easily get rejected here at this line and come back down and retest. But what happens with these altcoins like XRP, like BCH, like VRA, like Theta token, is they are largely dependent upon what happens with Bitcoin. They can look so bullish, but the minute Bitcoin drops, they're going to start to drop as well. Of course, when alt season resumes, we're going to see the decoupling effect, and that's when we'll see the Bitcoin dominance chart start to drop and start to plummet. But in the meantime, and by the way, when that happens, the altcoins will first follow Bitcoin, and then they're going to break away from Bitcoin and go off on their own. But in the meantime, we have to be prepared for the eventuality that if Bitcoin drops, we're going to see these altcoins drop as well. Now, with that being said, I'm talking about that, but does that mean I'm selling my stuff in preparation for the drop? No, I'm not selling anything because long-term we are bullish. This is bullish. And there's one more data point that I'm going to add here, and that data point is OBV, which is on balance volume, okay? Now, if I add on balance volume, what I'm going to do, I don't want to look at it that way. What I'm going to do, where is it? I want to overlay it. But anyway, the on balance volume on the weekly, if you look at it, it's still bullish. So even these drops here, you didn't see a major drop in the on-balance volume. The on-balance volume is showing us that the momentum is still moving upward. We were flat for a while, but it's still turning upward. And so if I were able to overlay it, I don't know why I'm not able to overlay it. I was able to do it last night. Of course, it doesn't work today. But if I were able to overlay it, you'd see that it's above. It's above this line. Now, the on-balance volume, if you come back here, you see this drop. When this dropped here, the on-balance volume dropped with it, right? When this dropped here, the on-balance volume dropped with it. So there was this convergence. Even this drop here, right? This drop here, the on-balance volume dropped with it. But this drop here, the on-balance volume did not drop. This drop here, the on-balance volume did not drop. What that means is that the momentum is still moving upward. We're still bullish. And that's why I like to pull out on the macro so that we see we're still making higher lows and higher highs. That means we're still going up, that this bullish momentum is not over, that really the bull market is not dead. It's not done, right? It's not done, people. It's not done. All right. So I am fully expecting a bullish move. Even if we come back to retest, I mean, it could get as bad as, and I know we don't like talking about this, but we could see a retest of this region here. Right? And it's still bullish. Like I still fully expect, even if we come down to retest $27,000, $28,000, I do not expect it to drop beneath $28,000. And of course, I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but I've also been right before, folks. So this is my perspective. I think this is the bottom, and then we're going to resume. But yeah, folks, that's what I see. That's what I see. All right, folks, that's all I got for you today. Well, that's all I got for you right now. I'm going to do another video later on. I also want to do a video to respond to something I saw on Facebook. Actually, one of my friends tagged me in on Facebook, and I'm hoping to live stream my response to that later today. I haven't done a live stream in a while, but I'm hoping to live stream my response to that. Let's see how the day goes. But at any rate, folks, thank you for watching. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to this channel. Hit that like button. That helps so much. It helps to make this, it's so hard to break through the YouTube algorithm. But every time you hit that like button, every time you leave a comment, and if you haven't done so already, if you subscribe, it makes the content that I provide more accessible, and that helps a lot. I appreciate it a lot. All right, folks, with that being said, make every effort to sleep in peace every night, wake in joy every morning, and walk in love every day. This is Cryptogenic, signing out.